understand their jokes, but my father loved them. His bony legs quaked beneath my thighs. His right hand twitched against my ribs. When he laughed, his large nose, crooked grin, and tortoiseshell sunglasses all scrunched up together. The women of the tribe were arrayed opposite the men. Aunt Deli, with jet-black hair, smoking a parliament that she'd set aside in the ashtray, kissed with red lipstick. Aunt Fran, her eyebrows heavily penciled, clutching a shiny gold cigarette case and pitching her 100-decibel voice. Great Aunt Jean, whose impossibly large lips were painted like apples or oranges. They flanked my mother, who relaxed in an aluminum-frame lawn chair. She wore navy blue slacks and a plaid shirt. Enormous round sunglasses shaded her eyes from the high noon sun. Her slight build and girlish bangs made her seem younger than her 34 years. The daughter of a learned Orthodox Jew, she was often mistaken for Irish, with her fair complexion, sandy hair, and hazel eyes. But here, among friends and sisters-in-law, there could be no doubt of her origins. She had been an only child. Her parents, immigrants from Eastern Europe, had long since died. When she married Seymour Mills, known by all as Cy, she was adopted by his tight-knit clan. On Saturday nights, they set up camp in our house. Sleeping quarters materialized out of thin air. Fold-up cots unfolded. A sofa and its cushions blossomed into a bed for 2 or 3. Army sleeping bags proliferated. I had too much fun to sleep. I knew my father was different from other fathers. They didn't need a wheelchair or visits from nurses. They didn't need to be fed by their wives from a spoon on a yellow tray. It's how he came back from the war, my mother said. That part confused me. I knew he had something called MS. Those 2 letters always hung in the air, like the cigarette smoke that arrived with my aunts and uncles. World War II and MS were connected, but I didn't know how. I thought my father was still in the Army, because the Army took care of us. In the early 1950s, they had built my parents a custom ranch house in Wantagh on Long Island. It had ramps in front and back, and extra-wide doorways so my father could roll or be rolled anywhere in the house. All the kids on my street wanted to run up and down our ramps. I was almost as popular as Tommy, whose father was a Mr. Softy man and parked his ice cream truck in their driveway. Our car was different, too. The Army had outfitted a big blue Plymouth sedan with hand levers so my father could operate the gas and brake pedals without using his feet. That was before I was born. I never saw him drive. When my mother took over the driving, they removed the back seat so my father could fit there in his wheelchair when we went to visit our relatives. On shopping trips, I sat in the front with my mother, pretending to be older, straining to see over the dashboard. Every Friday, we drove almost an hour to Fort Totten, an Army PX in Queens near the Whitestone Bridge. She loved the low prices for Army families like ours. I was more interested in the soldiers with holstered guns who guarded the entrance. When we stopped at the gate, they would look in the car and ask my mother about the hand levers. She explained how they worked. The soldiers pointed and nodded, impressed. On the nights when my father had to go to the hospital, my mother would wake me, kneel by my bed, and tell me which aunt or friend would be staying over till morning. Sometimes they stayed for days. I had nightmares about sirens. I'd wake up, panicked, sure that the siren I'd heard was real. Sometimes it was, but usually it wasn't. I'd clutch a small stuffed leopard to my chest and listen, hard. One night, there were strange sounds coming from my parents' bedroom. I grabbed my leopard and padded across the hallway to their closed door. When I opened it, I was hit with a blast of warm menthol vapor that poured out of a round green glass contraption sitting on the dresser. The machine was always running.